Dad in the Rock reacts to Avatar, The Way of Water. This is Sean.
And this is Chris.
And we are here. We are Dad in the Rock. We're here to talk about James Cameron's latest effort, over a decade's worth of effort to put out a
I think
sequel.
it's 13 years later. I mean, that's one long time to wait for a sequel.
We're going back to Pandora.
You know what? Let's watch it. Let's watch it, and then let's talk about it. I mean, I think it's the best way to go about doing this.
Yeah.
Visually, it looks great.
Yeah. Spectacle.
I mean, the music. I mean, there's. I forget what they're called. They're flying on. It's like, what's going on there?
I know one thing. Wherever we go, this family is our fortress.
Jake Sully.
Jigsaw leap.
We didn't get much. I mean, there really wasn't a whole lot there. A lot of just visuals. It's like it's almost this teaser was essentially just a reminder of what Pandora was. Because as soon as you start seeing some of these things, I know for me at least, it immediately took me back. I immediately remembered exactly what these things were. Now, granted, I may be a little different than some because I went to Pandora down in Disney.
Yeah.
So I experienced some of that stuff there, but movie wise, it took me right back to where we were.
You know, it's funny how big you forget how big Avatar was when it came out.
Yeah.
It was like it started the 3D movie craze because James Cameron, he filmed that first movie with 3D in mind. So the 3D was spectacular.
It blew me away.
Yeah, and then Hollywood tried to ape that, and they did kind of a piss poor,
Yeah, no, they never matched what Cameron did in Avatar. And I'll say this: I don't see movies multiple times in theaters very often.
Yeah,
I've seen this movie at least 2 times in the theater just because of the spectacle,
right?
Like the 3D deal, seeing things like just the way it was. I thought it was fantastic, and I think we feel differently about this franchise.
Slightly, yeah.
Because I'm looking forward to I actually not that long ago rewatched Pandora. I'm not the first Avatar. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
And I enjoyed it. I say it's not the same watching it at home. I mean, there's a big disconnect from the actual theater experience that we had in 3D IMAX and then sitting at home in nice theaters that we have at the house now.
Right.
But that emotion's different.
Yeah.
But I still enjoyed it for what it was. I thought I enjoyed the story. I understand the critiques. I understand, the politics behind the movie. But I put it aside. I think it's a fun story.
I liked it okay when it came out. I appreciated the visual spectacle of it. I mean, that was half the point of Avatar, was like being a technical showcase for James Cameron. He's like that with a lot of his movies in the past. And James Cameron doesn't make movies very often. Was Avatar the last movie that he made 13 years ago? It might have been, honestly. And then he's been working on this ever since.
Yeah, I can't remember of another one he put out since that point.
So it is special. The only thing is, I think Avatar aged quickly, and I don't know if the story was resonant enough to really stick with people, because I don't know how many people were longing, because we kept hearing, oh, well, James Cameron is working on Avatar 2 and 3. He's going to put out a trilogy.
Up to 5 now.
Yeah.
There's gonna be a total of 5 of them.
Right, and
So
everybody's just like, "Is that really necessary?" But
that's my one thing. Well, I mean, they're already going. So there's no stopping the train. The train's already rolling forward.
yeah,
But I mean, I'm not gonna bet against them. There's no way. This movie is gonna be a massive movie.
right.
People are gonna roll out to it, even if they're lukewarm, kind of like how you are, or if they're like myself. When they're actually releasing the first Avatar again, digital 3D, the whole deal,
Yeah.
to get people excited for the second one here. So I'll be in the theater, and I'm gonna wind up taking Zach. I'm like, dude, we have to go see this. You've got to experience this. This is something like when it comes to movies, it's one of those movies that you should see if you can.
I'm of 2 minds about it because I when the first one came out, motion capture was another big technology piece. I know,
Yeah.
they'd done Smeagol and Gollum in The Lord of the Rings a few years prior, but this one, as far as the amount and the quality of it, was for an entire movie, believable characters, and it looked, almost photoreal. They look even better. The Na'vi look even better this time around, of
Yeah,
course.
well,
I
that's the
mean,
thing. He always pushes the envelope. There's always
yeah,
some new technology that
right.
he has in his movies. If it's from Titanic to Avatar, you name it, he's always pushing the envelope. I mean, Titanic, it was the boat inside.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
They use in Avatar? Yeah, it's a 3D and it's the motion sense captures that
Well,
he
I'm
was using.
curious. I mean, you say that, but like, what's the technical advancement here? Just looking really good
That's the
CG? I
thing.
mean,
There hasn't been enough out about it. But you
yeah,
think about just knowing him and how long he's actually been in production of this.
right.
There's got to be something that he was developing specifically to continue this story along.
Yeah.
And I don't think we're going to know about it until we get closer and closer to the actual release.
The first one just, it barely did it for me. I definitely didn't think it was deserving to be. It was like the number one movie of all time for
For a
a
while,
few
yeah.
years. Yeah, I think before Avengers Endgame kind of took that spot. But I never thought that it deserved that hype. I think people were like blown away by the 3D, and they told their friends about the 3D, and that's what brought people back. But here, like I said, I'm of two different minds because I'm like, I don't know if it's so worthy of a sequel and a franchise and all that. But at the same time, it's like, well, why not? Like, we're always complaining that there's not enough like different IP. We're always, oh well, Disney put out more Star Wars, Marvel, and
Yeah.
Disney properties, and like, we seeing a lot of the same stuff over the last few years. And while original stuff hasn't really caught on and caught fire, every now and then you'll get something like The Matrix that'll start its own franchise, that kind of
Yeah.
thing. So on that aspect, I'm actually looking forward to it. Like, yeah, sure, let me go back to Pandora and
Yeah.
drop into a world I haven't seen in 13 years.
Well, the one thing they did fantastic in the first movie, in my opinion, is the world building.
Yeah.
We know Pandora. We know that there's certain areas or certain tribes. They had the tree, the works. Now there was something that caught my eye in this like glimpse they gave us, that there was a young boy that was wearing one of the masks that a human would have to wear,
Hmm.
and he referred to him as family. Where did this child come from?
Oh yeah.
Also, there are looks like other Marines still from that base. Are there people that survived that battle that are now inhabiting this planet that are kind of on the outskirts, or always kind of are they the who they're battling, or who's the antagonist here?
Yeah, that's another point that I just thought of. I mean, if this was just a sequel that was coming out and we didn't have word of an Avatar 3, 4, or 5, then I'm maybe more excited because it'd be like, well, they're really gonna put a lot of time and energy of telling a good story after 13 years. But are we gonna like see this movie and then by the end of it, it's gonna be like, to be continued, and we're not.
Well,
It's just gonna be like an episode of a really expensive TV show and not necessarily, like a satisfying movie experience.
now to my understanding, this is kind of what I've been hearing through the Nerdvine.
Yeah.
Uh, each of these additional movies are going to be individual stories.
Okay.
So they're all going to be their own story. And so this one's, for a while, they were thinking that since they used water this time, it was going to be elements on
Okay.
each of them. And I think that's been since disproved. But that's kind of how they were going to go about doing it. And I think Cameron even came out and said, each of these stories are going to be different. So we may not even see Jake Sully
Mm.
in the next one, the third one. It may be other younger characters that we get introduced to in this one here. And it's a struggle they go through at that point. So we're seeing, and maybe we may be seeing generations of
Yeah, see
this
that
planet.
that is interesting with the characters and the CG. I mean, you could tell long form stories like that where like it's generational, like you said. So that is kind of cool.
I mean, only time will tell. When I seen it live, when I went and seen Strange
Yeah.
on the actual IMAX theater, I was expecting myself to have some type of reaction to it.
Uh huh.
I really didn't. I mean, I thought it
Mm.
was cool seeing, but it didn't get the pop out of me that I kind of thought it may. And maybe it was because it was so just. Maybe I was just kind of looking at it, I was like, wow, this is beautiful. And I was
Right.
just watching,
Right.
and there was no like actual other reaction out of me.
I'm telling you, I'm so 50-50 about this. And honestly, I think this could fall either way. Either it could come out and nobody cares, and it does okay. It gives respectable numbers, but nothing earth shattering. Maybe it hits like a lower tier Marvel movie or something, but not enough to warrant the time and money and years that James Cameron has put on it, or
Yeah.
to warrant another three sequels after it. Or it could come out and blow people away, and people are hyped for the next movies to come out.
Now,
So
see, I think right now, I was even talking to my wife about this. I think all the movies that come out right now, I mean, all the way up through the end of this year and maybe even next year, I think all of them that are going to be marketed properly, the Marvel movies, Star Wars movies, Avatar, you Top Gun, you put the name on it. So many people have been cooped up and
yeah,
been yearning for movies. I don't personally think Doctor Strange would have done 187 million 3 years ago. It would have
no,
been,
especially I mean, it had a lot of help. It was riding on the back of the popular Spider-Man movie.
yeah,
Doctor Strange was
but
in
even
that, so yeah,
honestly, even Spider-Man, I
yeah,
don't think would have done that well if we weren't coming out of the pandemic and everyone was just yearning to go to the theater. So I
right,
think this movie, even in December, is going to do huge numbers. I think it's going to do top 10 numbers
yeah.
for an opening weekend. And it may do more just based on the situation we're coming out of.
It is gonna be special, especially if we're not, hunkered down for a new COVID variant,
Mhm.
right? If it's the holiday season,
Oh, watch your mouth, man.
uh,
Don't even put those words
hey, it's
into
happened
there.
already. It's happened already. It
Oh,
wouldn't be me that did it.
oh man, putting that out there
You
in the
have
inner
to think
space.
about that, but, yeah, I think it could do gangbuster numbers around the holidays too. You're right, could for that very reason, like, people just wanna get out and see a movie with their family, and this is, like, the perfect kind of movie to go see with your family,
Yeah.
so,
And I think once I see the original in the 3D IMAX again, I think my excitement is going to ramp up. And I think
yeah,
Zach's will as well. And it's going to be one of those
right,
ones that I'm going to take him to see along
yeah.
the way.
Speaking of,
Oh,
my
speaking of
dad's
Zach, he
making some
says hi.
calls.
Oh, we have another one here, though. It says, it better be good. We've been waiting 84 years for. So,
Yeah, it's been a long time, and that's part of the whole reason I'm so 50-50. It's like
but
it's
so is Top
anticip
Gun.
What, you think Top Gun's gonna do gangbuster numbers? It's gonna be the number 1 movie of all time?
I don't
I
think it's
think
going to be number one, but
this has way more expectations on it than Top Gun. I mean, I like Top look, you and me are excited about
well, I
Top
can't
Gun,
wait for Top Gun.
and to be fair, the people that have seen it already, it's got a lot of critical praise at the
Yeah.
convention, but anyway, we're not talking about Top Gun. We're talking about Avatar.
But,
It comes out, mid-December, and we're
I mean,
definitely looking
that's a
forward to
big
it.
time for movies too. I mean, that's
Yeah.
for some reason I'm not a big Christmas movie person, but I will be in the theater for this one. I will make time.
Oh, for sure.
Okay, guys. Well, we are Dad and Rock. If you watch us all the way to this point, thank you so much for being along with us. We do these reactions when one is warranted, but we also do an after show on Friday or Saturday nights, depending on our family life. We are first and foremost dads, so family gets in the way sometimes.
Hence the
But
name.
yeah, but currently right now we are doing Halo. So we're doing a reaction of each episode of Halo. We only have 2 episodes left of that. And I believe we're going to roll right into The Boys. That's going to be our
Yeah.
next big after show. So
Yep.
if you like this, please like, subscribe, share, do all that good stuff. And I'm guessing that's about all we got this week for you, or this episode.
That's it. Keep an eye out for any big trailers that come out. We'll be doing reactions. Otherwise, check back in with us this weekend as we finish up Halo.
Okay, well, I guess we'll catch you guys next time.
See ya.